What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You know, usually I'd like do pre-recorded clips and then I do commentary after the fact, but I'm just going to go ahead and run it today against this PKA. Now, look, the thing is like this PKA is going to be here for quite a while. I have a team built, so this is going to be pretty much like a test run to like hopefully see if the team actually works. And of course, not everyone is going to be able to build the exact same team that I have. I completely understand that. But again, this is going to be like my first run at this, so I don't really know what to expect in terms of the enemy types, which can definitely determine what kind of items you want to pick up along the run. One thing to note is that on the final stage, I'm looking up the details, is that the enemy has a weakness class against Driven. You got to remember, you got to keep the batch in mind. The batch in mind, obviously focusing in on what's his name? Garp, and also Garling, right? So the fact that out of this batch, the driven character in this batch is Garling. So my assumption is that the final boss will be a Psi type, so you use int characters to get double damage there. So we'll see what happens. So int characters you want to buff. You probably want to buff Dex characters as well, because Garp and the Kuma of the batch are also Dex. So that's probably going to be what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and pick up some items. Now, ideally, what in terms of the way that I go through it, I like to pick up the sake bottles to level up with Zoro, because if you do that, you can level up your PKA levels faster. But at the end of the day, it is up to you. Like, if you don't have a super powerful team that is capable of clearing over level 100, picking up the sake bottles doesn't really help you out all that much. Okay, let's pick up the cola because the rest of those are useless. We have Zoro next. We'll go ahead and pick up the sake bottle to, I guess, it didn't really matter, I don't think. We'll go here. We'll pick up, doesn't really matter, those are all not very useful. And then we go ahead and pick up the chest. And remember, because this is the first run, we're not going to encounter any of those mini bosses, so it is what it is. Now, here we are at the final boss against Big Mom. The thing is I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a friend captain, so that's going to be interesting to see. This is the team composition that I have in mind. Now, in theory, this should be capable of clearing over level 100, so we'll see what happens. And I get, you know, we're using the rare recruit Ivankov that just came out. Obviously, not everyone is going to have that unit, but there is a key reason why this character is here, with defense reduction and being able to do slot change. It is really important to get around those effects, and the Ivankov is just like the really good way to get through it. It's really frustrating, honestly. Like, looking at the gimmicks for this particular PKA, this is a pretty challenging event. I do think this is going to be really challenging for a lot of people out there, because like, if you don't have very key specific units, like on the final stage, there's 11 turns of damage threshold. Getting around 11 turns of damage threshold is pretty tricky, so I think that what most people will do is that if you don't have the Roger Rayleigh Gaban captain who can kind of get around that, the other good way is to use a character that can bypass defensive effects, and I think that's probably going to be the best way forward. We'll see what happens, but we want to try and find a Garp friend captain. That's going to be what we're trying to build with here. Do we have a Garp friend captain? We do have a couple. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. So it is very important that for this team in particular, once you get deeper into the event, the good thing about Garp is he does have the hunger potential ability. That is important, that if you do want to build this team, especially when you get deeper into the event, you want the friend captain Garp to be level 5 hunger. You do need that to happen, because where is it? It's on stage 4. At level 100 and above, you get hit with 3 stacks of hunger, so you need a way to get around it. This Garp is one of the best ways to do that. Okay, so this is our team comp here. We'll go through each of the characters as we get deeper into the stages here to kind of break it down. Remember, this is only level 60, so the gimmicks that you see here are going to be a lot easier compared to what we would normally see once you get to obviously level 100 and above. Alright, let's see what happens here. Now, the thing is, though, is that the team isn't, I guess, ultra optimal in a way, because, you know, Roger Rayleigh Gaban's captain effect focuses on buffing Int, Slasher, and Striker. And then you've got Garp, who focuses on buffing Dex, Int, and Fighter. So, like, there isn't a ton of overlap, because, you know, if you want to run, like, Dex and Int characters, that's fine, but, you know, it's just that Roger Rayleigh Gaban don't really buff a lot of characters on this team, but they're obviously here because of their really powerful effect in their captain to remove that damage threshold. Another key reason why we have them on the team, I guess we'll talk about them a little bit later on, but they have another really key important effect that is very vital for getting through this content. We really don't even need to do much stall here either, to be honest. I did want to check one thing real quick. Okay, I just realized something that I don't think this is actually going to work once we get to level 100 and above. We're at level 60. There's no special bind yet. Okay, I just realized because Roger, Rayleigh, and Gaban don't have an effect in their captain effect to get around the special bind, do they? I remember that being a thing. Yeah, so we have to actually use Roger, Rayleigh, Gaban in a different way. We need to get around the special bind once we get deeper into the event, because I think the special bind is for all characters, not just for like the crewmates. I did misread that. Okay, so when we get deeper into the event, this team will not work because of that special bind effect, so that's kind of annoying. But anywho, again, this is just my first draft in terms of a team getting through the PKA, so we'll see what happens here. So, here we are at stage 3. We have a Kaido, who is a Psy character. He does bind our top row, but with Garp as a captain here, with Garp in terms of the way that he works, as a captain, he says that if you have, 5 or more Navy, Navy Vice Admiral, or Egghead, then you get the 10 turns of bind removal in his captain effect. So the whole team is either Navy or Egghead or Navy Vice Admiral, so that's perfect. That's not going to be an issue for us here. And then with that, once we get deeper into the event, this is why we have Kobe on the team. Kobe has an ability to remove bind and despair, because eventually we're inflicted with despair on this content here, so eventually you would go ahead and use the Kobe special to remove some of the despair. We also have the support of Morley on our team to remove a further 1 turn of despair, and then we can go ahead and just kill. Alright, so now we move on to stage number 4. So stage 4 does more bind. This time, it's a ton of bind. I think once you get to level 100, it's like 12 turns of bind to your crewmates. So because of Sockets and Garp's captain effect, we can get around that. And then we're going to go ahead and use the special ability of... what's his character's name? Bluegrass. So Bluegrass here can give us a full board of matching slots and also give us the ore block and also give us an orb boost. And because we have 3 characters on the team that are Navy characters, the orb boost that Bluegrass applies actually it has the effect to like to get buffed 2 times, which is really cool actually. And then with this is more than enough to go ahead and get through. And then on the final stage, this is where like a lot of nasty stuff can happen. And who's the boss going to be? It is, oh yeah, obviously it's Big Mom, and yeah, she is a Psy type boss, so they really want you to predominantly get the most damage out of Garling out of the batch. So with this, like, this is pretty much easy. Like, there's really not a lot going on here. We do have the Ivankov, and you see that the Ivankov does reduce defense. The enemy does eventually put up increased defense, and we do get G slots from Ivankov's special, which is also kind of important, because eventually the enemy will put up a barrier where you need to hit them with 1 G slot to break it, and the barrier lasts for 4 turns at level 100 and above, which is just super frustrating. So you can't really just remove the barrier, because 4-turn barrier removal sucks. So maybe more effects that go through defensive effects as a captain is going to be the way forward to not only get around that barrier, but also get around the damage threshold if you don't opt to use Roger, Rayleigh, Gaban as your captain. Let's go ahead and activate the Garb special ability. Let's go ahead and see this Garb special once. I did upload the YouTube short if you guys haven't seen it. I also uploaded it onto my Instagram and onto my TikTok. Of the every time like a new batch comes out, I always upload the special animations for the characters and stuff. So the Garb special animation, it's nothing crazy. It definitely feels like they're waiting for like something else to come out in the future. There's going to be like, obviously we're expecting One Piece Day to have a Super Sugo Fest applied to it. We'll wait and see if they end up doing that. But they're probably, you know, using their time and effort to polish a character for that kind of reason. Let's go ahead and use the special ability here of Roger, Rayleigh, Gaban, because why the hell not? And then let's go ahead and get that kill. Pretty simple, but of course this is very easy. Most people out there shouldn't have too many issues for getting through at least level 60. Of course, once you get deeper into the event, that's where things get a little crazy, and especially if you get to like level 150, level 200, you know, that's where you really need big damage. But overall right now, pretty good. How many additional drops do we get? That's pretty decent. That's a pretty decent amount of additional drops. I'll take that. The only real issue is trying to find friend captain Garps for this event. Of course, I only just, like, this is literally, the event literally just went live. So maybe now that people have been able to log in, maybe we'll be able to find more friend captains. But that's pretty much it, guys. We'll probably upload another PKA video tomorrow or the day after, once we get a little bit deeper into the event, showcasing a couple different teams. So hopefully you enjoyed this video today. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.